All right, let's go. So welcome to episode number 4 of eCom Raw Reality. Basically just posted episode 3 yesterday. As you can see, around 14 views, more than enough right now, just beginning. And in this one, I want to talk about something that basically I do almost every day. So I probably have some good tips that you might take away from this video. And in this video I want to talk about how to actually make money with Facebook ads in eCom in 2025. So basically right now when I'm filming this video, it's 17th March 2025, and March is not one of the best months in eCom. And this is why actually right now I'm having so many conversations with brand owners, with other media buyers, agency owners, and just being real that performance is not always the best, and this is expected. Like, whoever isn't aware of this, then they haven't been in the game long enough. You must be aware to some extent that maybe you will not make as much money in March versus December or November, but everyone is spoiled, right? Because when you make way more money, way more profit, then you expect that. But in this video, let's come back and think of, let's say, the first principles approach here and look at what you need to actually win, right? Because what you're doing is getting someone's attention, the eyeballs, and getting them through the funnel. Or you can think of the funnel like this, right? You get them through the funnel, and then at the end they buy, and then ideally they continue to buy. But that's a whole other thing. So let's think in very simple terms, right? Because you don't actually start with the person. You don't actually start getting someone with Facebook ads. You actually start with the product, which is at the end. This is where you want them to get, right? But you actually need to start with the product and sell something that people actually would want. I talked about that in the previous video, so episode number 3, where you actually need to solve a pain point. You actually need to create some urgency. And you do need a product that actually has some value for that person, right? Because if you sell something that's not urgent right now, right? For example, if someone has a mouse and you sell a mouse, probably they won't buy one right away. It's not a huge pain point. Or if it is, you actually need to show how that new mouse will actually solve their entire life, which it won't. So that's why most people won't pay an arm and a leg for a mouse. You need to solve bigger problems, and sometimes consumables can do that thing because it changes someone's habit, and it's even more than clothes. Even though with clothes you can think about the same thing. If you sell to a woman, or as a man, if you buy for a woman something that's super expensive, right? That's like a show of status, of respect, of the fact that you have money, right? So this is also a reason why someone would buy, but you definitely need a good product. So you can't sell something that's Zara level quality in terms of apparel and sell it for Gucci price. And after that, you actually need to create a landing page, then some creative. So all has to do with the actual product and then creating some assets for that product, right? And we could even go down into each one, but for the purpose of this video, I want to make each section around 3 minutes or so. And that is why after you start with the product, then you can actually start running Facebook ads. That's the second step. Because with Facebook ads, you have so many variations, and that's why there are so many dropshippers, e-com brands out there, because there is room for everybody and anyone can win at certain points in time. And here, why is actually Meta one of the best platforms? Because if you think about it, you can test multiple ads, multiple creatives, multiple descriptions, multiple landing pages, right? Which we just talked about. And most Shopify stores just have one landing page, which is normal. And at the same time, what I wanted to touch on was the fact that you need to fail a lot here. And with a product, you shouldn't ideally fail as much as with the ads, because with the ads, think about it, you're actually relying on the algorithm. You're actually relying on so many factors, and you just need a couple that can win, right? For example, think of it like this. When you think of yourself or a product out there, right? Sometimes it's just like two factors that make it unique. Let's say it's a drink for newborn moms, and that can work, right? It's just something that people already do, drink, but it is for a specific type of person. And you'll always have newborn babies, right? So you will have a huge audience all the time. But when it comes to, let's say, YouTube videos, think of myself. So let's say there are more things that you can think of why I am unique, for example, right? But one of the things is that I'm in eCom, right? Not the most unique. Second, I'm Romanian. Not that many, to be fair, that are either European or from Romania that are here. And basically, because I am from, let's say, a third world country, maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago, who knows, it is maybe easier for someone who wasn't born by actually in an English speaking country, in a first world country, with English as their first language, right? There are so many reasons why you could see someone as, let's say, a teacher, or you would actually believe that person more just because they are more like you, right? They don't have any special capabilities. They weren't born by actually speaking English or even being able to speak, right? Because sometimes you actually relate more with people who are, let's say, ADHD, autistic, right? All of that. And online you actually do have. And even myself, I might have a little bit of some of those things just mentioned. But when it comes to creatives, that's why I just mentioned all of this, because there are small things that you can touch on in your ad and speak to a person, because that's what you're doing with a creative on Facebook. You're trying to match the right creative with the right person. And basically this is where you can and should test multiple images, multiple videos, multiple copy, multiple headlines. And here it's where there are so many variations. And some people hit it sooner rather than later, but it is to some extent luck. True, you can prepare as much as possible, but in most cases, you should expect 9 out of 10 creatives to not work, which actually means you should expect 90 out of 100 creatives to not work. And think about that. What does that actually mean? Well, you have 100 ads that you can test, right? Think of it like this. You test them randomly. And this is unlikely, but it can happen. And that is that you can test 10 ads, they all suck. You test another 10 ads, none work again. You test another 10 ads, none work. So you are testing 30 ads and neither of them worked. However, let's not forget, it's 9 out of 10, right? And 9 out of 10, it doesn't mean that out of 10, the first 10 tries, 9 don't work. It means that maybe after the first 90 tries, the next 10 could work, right? So this is how statistics work, and that's why sometimes it is a challenge, because it is also psychological. Will you do it again after you failed, right? Like you just started riding a bike, you fall. You do it again, you fall. You do it again, you fall, right? Is there a moment when you say, I quit? Well, this is where it depends. This is where it matters so much, the context, the nuance, like why did something fail, right? And sometimes you don't know, because it's not like you have to dig deep. Sometimes it's just like, okay, it didn't work, let's move on, right? And then the last thing is scaling, because eventually you will find something that works. And with scaling, this is one of the more important components, because what you're trying to do initially is just win. Just have one creative that wins, right? And then the goal is to scale. But by scale, it doesn't mean that you can scale 10x, 100x. Sometimes you can scale just 2x and that's it. That's it. You saturated that ad for that person that's seeing it, that will buy your product. And that's when you do have some cash flow, right? And this is how almost anything starts. Relationships, agencies especially, right? you get that one client, and once you get that one client happy, results, then you can maybe increase the retainer, unlikely in most cases. However, you can get a case study, be more confident in your skills, and then try to do the same thing for someone else, or try to find someone who is very similar and maybe do something else because you already found your ideal customer, let's say. So what you're trying to do is either hit them with different angles, or you can try to find out what other problems they have. And this is where it depends, like, do you want to solve just one problem? Do you want to solve multiple problems? Or do you want to make your product seem like the product that solves multiple problems? Because, for example, something that I consume is protein powder. And there are multiple reasons. First of all, it's not heavy on the digestion, so it's really easy to consume. Second, protein is essential, so we all need it anyway. And third, I just like it. I like the taste, the texture, everything, right? And basically, how much does it help you? Well, it helps me a lot, because I wouldn't say I wouldn't be here if there wouldn't be like protein shakes and so on, right? But it did have a significant impact. It's just like, did your teacher from second grade that either helped you a lot to learn, or like give you so much of a headache that you are just tired of actually listening to anyone for the rest of your life, right? They probably had an impact. And sometimes we do forget that there are multiple things that we can think of, but I don't want to make this like a very long video talking about different things. So coming back to the main three things that we just covered in this video, it's mainly about having a product, a good product. And this is where you can definitely test. Dropshippers do this all the time, although ideally you don't test as much, and basically try to do more research before actually testing. Then you also have ads where you can do the same thing, research, and at the same time, sometimes it's just about volume, because quality is something that you get after you have done a lot of quantity already, and also have data. And the fourth thing, scaling, because you can scale horizontally, you can scale vertically. Vertically means you just bump the budget. Horizontally, what I mentioned earlier, you find similar products, not different products, but different pain points, and maybe you solve it with the same product, different angle, basically, or with a different product. Because if you have a customer and you dropship or do something similar, it's easier to source something, so you can just resell to that person through email marketing, for example. Because we are forgetting sometimes that Facebook ads don't live in a silo. Yeah, I just mentioned how to win with Facebook ads, but you also need to make sure that you have email implemented, Klaviyo, flows, all of that. And right now I just got distracted by some Slack notifications because there's work to be done. However, what we'll end this video with is basically that even this video alone, maybe it helped you by actually giving you one idea or one structure in your mind, but still, we have to talk about email. We have to talk about Google Ads. We have to talk about so many other things, and it's not much, honestly, because personally, I consume maybe 3 hours of content a day, which might be, let's say, actually 3 to 6 hours, which with 1.5 speed or 2 times speed, I go through faster, right? So this is where you actually need to consume a lot of content as well, and ideally the right content. Sometimes it's just in time when you actually need it, and sometimes it's just in case. And in most cases, ideally, you do consume just in time, because just in case, it's like, all right, you're just learning things for the sake of it, and in most cases, it's not practical. But with that, we'll end it just because we're near 15 minutes here, and I hope you listened at 1.5 or 2 times speed, because I'm not the fastest talker in most cases. But with that, we'll end it for today. Hope you find some value in it. If you did, you can leave a like, comment, probably not share. And until next time, peace out.